We're playing Raw Deal in Barrie, Ontario, and you're listening to the Backlash Podcast.
Welcome everyone to the Backlash Podcast. I'd like to thank our local group for doing that intro in the beginning. So with that, we want to announce a contest. So come episode 11, which is towards the end of February, we're going to do a bit of a giveaway. So we want everyone listening or watching, if you were just listening on the audio and the video, we had our local play group in today's tournament. Or I guess would be Saturday's tournament.
Yeah, a few days ago tournament.
Played a video. So we want anyone out there that's playing Raw Deal, whether it be a tournament, whether at your table, 2 or more people, just let us know where you're from, you're playing Raw Deal. Just use the same line we used. And what I'm going to do is pick random people or random groups that send it out, and we're going to ship out some backstage autograph session cards here. So these I've had signed personally myself. I met these wrestlers. I photoshopped these autograph sessions myself, but they're the same text as the backstage virtual autograph cards. So who we have here is Santino Marella. He has a wrestling school in Mississauga.
Yeah, which is about an hour from our place.
Mm-hmm. And Sienna and Ali. So if you're familiar with Impact Wrestling at all, these 2 women are former champions there. So what we'll do is we'll mail out we'll choose 3 random winners and we'll mail these out. As well, what we'll do is we'll send out, a bunch of little either your town venue cards or For the Love of the Games, and we'll take a screen capture of your group and we'll mail you out a whole bunch of them for enough for a few play sets. We did that with our group about a year ago. Maybe I'll put a picture here because that's what worked out last time, or we'll have it in the show notes. Actually, I got a few comments about the dropped collections last show.
Yeah. Where
I didn't put it in the video. I was so mad at myself. But if you go back to that episode in the show notes, in the YouTube description, or if you go to the podcast audio show notes, all the links are there for that.
Yeah, I did see
mess.
the pictures. I saw them in the show notes, so I was like, nice.
Oh man, I would not want to sort through that. I might quit the game, like if that were to happen to me. So you can email that to backlashpod@gmail.com or put it on the Facebook or the Twitter. Tweet it out to us however you want, or just shoot me or Scott a message on TCO or on Facebook or however. Just find a way to get it to us, and we'll do that on the going episode. So anyone that's sent to us will appear at the beginning of an episode, any of the future episodes. So we stress Raw Deal is still a big community, so let's take that opportunity and showcase everyone that's still playing the game around the world. And also, the next episode in 2 weeks is our episode 10. 10.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a pretty cool announcement that involves the community as well, so make sure you're checking that out as well. And now on to the show.
Woo.
How are you, Scott?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm tired.
Yes. Yeah.
It's been a long...
We played our tournament today. We did a five round Swiss, but we both played 5 games, and it was a long day. We'll get into that a little later, but it does make for a long day.
Let me drink my water.
Yeah. I had a coffee an hour ago. Usually we do these in the morning, and we're doing these later in the evening. So.
Okay, so we got around the web. Not much going on lately.
No, not too much.
Christmas rush is over. No new sets for a while. But I thought this was a neat thread. Have you checked it out?
Yeah, I've been following it a little bit.
Okay, so on TeamCanadaOnline.net, where you get all your virtual and Raw Deal needs.
Yep.
There's a thread one of the users have started up saying, this new virtual set has the potential to be the biggest set in a long time, which, I agree. A lot of superstars that are not out in the game, have a chance to just fill this up.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm most excited about, is that it'll be, I know you have a note coming up, but it will be new current superstars, right? Whereas V8, I think there was only 3 or 4 current superstars, so this one, if the plan is the majority to be current guys. So I think that's what everyone's most excited about, right? You want to play current guys.
Well, that was great about the holiday payback set, where it's like, oh wow, we get all these new guys all of a sudden. So I'm glad that the trend going forward will be that.
Yeah.
So, you know, some little tidbits from various playtesters and, you know, Creed and, you know, moderators and users on there. So it was asked if there's plans for any Revolution card support, and they've said no, not in the next year or two. I mean, there's not really a big demand for it. I know we're going to start up Revolution in the area here soon. But with your kind of experience with it, does it need it except for like new superstars right now?
I think it does. Like, I know that Keith and them play it a lot. Like, they play monthly on a monthly basis, and I can see if they've been doing that for 2 years now, that getting a little stale with the card pool that's available, because I don't know how you bring out new card support without expanding the Backlash deck. Unfortunately, like, they would have to do something unique because it's still such a small Backlash deck. Most of the time in Revolution, you're still playing 5 or 6 of the pre-match, but you can only pack 5 or 6, so they're really limited on what they can do in the Backlash deck. So they would probably need new Arsenal cards, which means non-unique cards potentially, and that's a lot of playtesting and a lot of work. So I don't know, and I think that they're the only play group really that's using Revolution on a consistent basis, other than Worlds. So we'll see how it goes.
Show those off.
We'll see how our play area likes Revolution. It might take a few tries to get into it, but
how do you find that the kind of reception to the idea is locally?
I think it's good in that, like, if we all come together and kind of print out what we need and go over what we need and what's new and stuff, right? Keith made like a Revo cheat sheet that I emailed out to everyone. It's like, all right, here's the cards that work with these cards, that work with these cards, and if you're building this, here's kind of a skeleton, and he's emailed like 3 different skeletons with the 3 different reversal bases. So that, I think, will be a good start if we kind of all go over that together, rather than like me hoarding that information and being like, all right, bring it on, guys, you have nothing, and I've got all this.
Well, I mean, you have 2 starter decks whipped together and 2 constructed virtual decks, so it's like you're kind of ahead of us on that, but the majority of us were going in kind of not blind but inexperienced with it, so it'll be interesting to see what different ideas people come up with.
I mean, like, constructed decks are really stuff from like when Revolution was still there. I just put in 3 or 4 virtual cards, right? So I don't think they're that far ahead of the curve, and most of them don't even have any Revolution 3 because I didn't buy any of that set. So
and I think does the Facebook group Raw Deal SG, do they have all the proxies for the Revolution cards?
I believe so. There's one group that has proxies for everything, so we just need to look into that if we decide that we want to move forward with Revolution.
Well, shout out to Keith for, you know, being the flag runner,
of Revolution.
the main voice behind Revolution out there.
It is a fun format. I think it's a fun format. Like, today, after the tournament, Shuker and I were talking like how our heads were just so hot because we're just thinking of all the moving pieces that are happening in a virtual deck, and we're both playing 12 pre-match cards. There's so much going on, and there's like so many players every game. We can talk about that a little later too, but it's like there's just so much going on, and Revo's just punch, reverse, and hit back and forth, and hit hard and fast. So we'll see how it goes.
Another tidbit is there are no plans for older superstars in the near future. I mean, there are so many new wrestlers on TV. That's what they're going to be focusing on. Straightforward. I think that's what everybody wants to see. I mean, the only person they're really missing that I think stands out is Steve Blackman.
Yeah.
But they've said that by the time, you know, development comes to, you know, either a big slowdown or, you know, they're finished with virtual, it takes a lot of time for these guys to work on it. So it's got to end eventually. Steve Blackman will come out by the end of it.
Yeah.
he has a logo now, so. Yeah. So it seems coming up this year is going to be an emphasis on 205 Live and NXT. I forget what the comment was exactly, but it's like, you know, who do people want to see in NXT and 205 Live? And Creative mentions, like, this is a good question. But the history with virtuals, you know, generally guys who have been called up for a few years, and Kevin Owens stands out Page is another example. They have been branded NXT, which has been, I think it's disappointing because it's, you know, it would be like
they've both been essentially world champions.
Yeah,
one another, right? So.
I mean, Xavier Woods, like him, he came out on a holiday set and he had been in NXT for I think 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Except like Rusev was branded WWE, and same with Drew McIntyre, but I get the feeling with Drew, I mean, it was kind of like a year one representation of him. So what do you think of the idea of Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura, Asuka, Alexa Bliss being branded NXT?
I don't think they need to be NXT. I don't know. I think there's enough star power right now on NXT that could be branded NXT by itself, right? Like Adam Cole and Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Gargano, and Drew McIntyre's already out. But yeah, it's a neat little. Like it's almost its own mechanic. Like there are a few support cards for NXT, but I don't think they need to be built around it.
They feel, I mean, now they're so much bigger and beyond NXT.
And again, they've been world champs, right? Finn Balor's was the first Universal Champion. I'm sure Asuka will be champion by the time she's released eventually into Raw deal. So
I mean, look at Revival. You know, they've done more in NXT than WWE, but you know, NXT's an afterthought for these guys as soon as they hit the main brand.
Yeah.
I get a little disappointed when I see, you know, when Kevin Owens came out and you see that NXT logo on his card and it's like, it's not needed. Like, you know, adjust the abilities or the card support. I mean, I'm not a playtester, but I'd like to think that, you know, they have the cards available and they're able to do quick little type ups. You could be like, okay, they're not getting this NXT support anymore. What can we adjust with their card base that will bring them up there? But it's like, I played Kevin Owens for a little bit. He didn't need the NXT card support. Like all it did was just make him like, oh, he's really good to like, oh my god, like, you know, no one needs that free space underrated and you know, increasing numbers in their ability.
Yeah, I forgot about that totally. Like from NXT to WWE,
it's like, imagine getting a Shinsuke Nakamura face card that's NXT. It's like, oh man, like
he could be the Royal Rumble winner last weekend. I don't know.
2 days ago.
Yeah, if you're listening to this, you'll know if he was the Royal Rumble winner.
But I mean, I like to see kind of a removal, like a departure from bringing these guys. And sure, I get it where it's like, you're paying respect to where they came from.
Yeah.
But, you know...
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah. That's exactly it. Like, you know, they didn't visit... what's his name? Jinder Mahal. You know, he was in the finals for the tournament for the NXT Championship, and they didn't dress that on his cards at all. So, I mean, there's 2 ways to do it. I mean, they've done it 2 different ways. Yeah. But I don't want my Finn Balor to be NXT. Like, it's just, that yellow branding is unnecessary. And the last bit from that is, right now it's been one big set and a holiday set over the last 3 years. There are no plans for frequent, smaller sets. What do you think? Usually it's like a summer set, Christmas set.
Yeah. I don't mind the 2 sets a year. The big set could be smaller and I wouldn't be disappointed. 2 like holiday set size with 7 to 8 to 10 superstars I think is more than enough. You're gonna find you're gonna want to play multiples of them, and when you have a set that drops 15, 20 superstars, it's either overwhelm or you're not interested in some of them. So I mean, when you're using and making smaller sets, you know that you're picking the wrestlers that the most people want to play, basically, right? So there's a higher chance of everyone enjoying all the cards, right? And there's a lot from the holiday set that I still want to build, and V8 I've only still built 1 deck because they almost came out so close together, right? And then in the part of Virtual 8B, there's all that support for older superstars where I'm like, oh, I want to build some older guys because they got new cards, right? So I'm a fan of smaller sets. There's so much going on. I appreciate the big sets, but it's almost overwhelmed sometimes.
I'd like to see like 3 holiday size sets a year, like once every 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
Say you could do April, May, July, April, August, December,
Yeah.
and do like 6 superstars and like 2 non-specifics.
A WrestleMania set, a SummerSlam set.
Yeah, like that would be perfect. Well, yeah. But I mean, it's dependent on playtesting, timing, and all that. I'm sure these people that make it have full-time jobs and everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, we could all dream.
Yeah, that's part of TCO. That's why I like it. It's a forum where we can all share our thoughts, and we don't have to be right or wrong. We're just share our thoughts. Right?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's all I've really seen online. Do you have anything you want to bring up?
I didn't do too much online on a raw deal this week. I did print off a few new cards, but that's about it.
Yeah, I've been working on like proxies so I could build multiple decks at a time.
Yeah. Which I appreciate. And I have 6 decks, but I'm probably going to take apart 2 or 3 this weekend. Especially the ones that didn't perform this weekend. Biggie.
Speaking of performance issues this weekend, Scott, how was the tournament on Saturday?
It was lots of fun. I went 0-5, and again, I play tested the deck basically twice, and the first time we were playing with body block with the restriction that it can only be reversed from hand, but it can actually be reversed from Backlash as well. So, let's say that game doesn't count. I play tested the deck once, essentially, before bringing it in a tournament, and that's probably my biggest pet peeve in Raw Deal is entering a tournament without solidly play testing it beforehand, because I played the first game and I'm like, I found like 3 big holes in this deck, and now I just have to play 4 more games and suck it up, do the best I can, right? Which wasn't very good. There were a few close games, like they weren't all shutouts or anything, but yeah, it wasn't a great performance from myself.
Although our game was a shutout.
Was it?
I shut you out a little bit.
I don't remember. I know you had quite a few reversals, but so my Big E deck basically ran the back to my Mean Gene, so I could play Turn Up the Heats and Turn the Tides that can't be responded to, and then I played Drawing a Blank, so I could basically play body locks and body blocks that had some sort of restriction on them for reversals.
It's a body, I don't want to be blocked.
Yeah, right. But by the time you get through a Sidewalk Slam or 2, there was 2 Bash decks, so there's that Bash feud that's just sitting in the ring area.
And restricted
use. Reach exceeds your grasp, which I pretty well played around all day. I still got hit with it 2 or 3 times. You're going to run into it. Douchebag, Carlito. We found out that Carlito hits the body block even though there isn't...
Because it says printed reversal restriction.
Yeah, it says ignore the restriction, but it's printed on there. So, I mean, there's 5 or 6 reversals that I had to get through before hitting a move, and when you're stuck at 0 or 2 fortitude, like, it's not easy to...
It's unreal to think that
down.
you're throwing 0 fortitude, 12 damage, high risks, and you're not able to get them through.
It's insane, right? Like we were talking about it with Cam today, how back in the day, he built entire decks around like successfully playing an atomic back body drop. And turn 1, I can play one, and it's an 0 for 13, can only reverse by uniques. But look at how many uniques there are! That gets hits by Reach Exceeds Your Grasp, like right away. I ran into like Sable's trademark finisher from the reversal. I'll talk about that matchup in a sec.
It's actually blank text. You can't play it as a reversal. That was a misplay on that card, because Sable has, it's one of her backstage area cards where your Sable Bomb now reads as blank text.
Yeah.
So how can you play it as a reversal when it has
Didn't
no
play
text?
Sable Bomb. Sable Bomb is the maneuver.
Yeah, but
She has the men that come to see me.
Oh, I thought you were referring to when it being a hybrid.
No. So, yeah. There's just a lot of reversals. So, yeah. Your game, were we first round?
We were first round, which will have the recording. I'll have it pop up with the little eye on the YouTube right here.
I don't remember any of that match. You reversed quite a bit. I honestly don't remember. I remember not wanting to run into Backlash deck or like cards that you can play from your ringside. With
the Pele kick reverses.
I didn't want to run into Pele kicks. I didn't want to run into axe kicks or counter slashes. I was like, okay, Backlash, any of that stuff. I remember seeing the Pele kick in your ringside that reversed any high risk for like 11 damage or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't remember that game. Against Bailey, we basically went to count out. I really don't know who would have won that match, but it probably had another hour left in it. We were both playing drawing a blank and sustaining moves, so they did no damage, and it was back and forth. And
leave it to a Jamie Noble player to build a Bailey deck. Oh, it was just sponges.
Against APA, that was probably my closest game of the day. I kept him off the board for 5 or 6 turns, but he also kept me off the board for 5 or 6 turns, and then he was just throwing big multis that I eventually couldn't stop, and I was able to like play Turn Up the Heat into Whirlwind Kick, which was a unique multi, so it's harder to reverse.
Yeah.
It's a multi that can't be reversed, right? And then I Turn Up the Heat into Big E's Stretch. That was for 5 damage, and there was one other, I think, another Big E move that was 5 damage. So I hit all those 3, and that was pretty well it. But I got Fortitude, so I was able to slow down my death a bit. But his reversals, like APA's reversal, Dominator and Clothesline from Hell and Fall Away Slam, it's like, everything's doing double damage, 9, 10, 11, 12 damage. I was like, okay. And then Sable was a misplay on my end, basically not knowing what cards do. He was Bash, played Sable Bomb the first turn, because 3 Fortitude from that, -2 from the Hardcore Belt, and Nash's ability gives it -2. Nash's ability also makes it a multi, and I had 3 onces enough in my opening hand. But I didn't know it was a multi until like 4 turns, and I was like, I better read what this ability does. So that happened first turn, Sable Bomb. Then he used his ability, overturned the Women That Want to Be Me, put it in his ring area. First turn, I play like a body block, and he has 10 Fortitude to play the Men That Come to See Me, which versus any maneuver, and you discard equal to his superstar value, which was 10. I discarded 10 cards, and he had 10 Fortitude. First turn of the game. So I basically scooped from there, and he just smashed her face. So that was pretty well my error, because I could have reversed the Sable Bomb. And then against Brock Lesnar, he was throwing multi-Germans, and I didn't have any onces enough in my opening hand, so he got off pretty quick, got to about 25 Fortitude, and I was like, crap, if he hits another move, like, he's going to F5 me, and I won't be able to play any more moves. So I kept him off the board probably 5 or 6 turns. He eventually got enough Fortitude for the F5 and played it as a maneuver, which eventually pinned me. Not even as a reversal. He just threw it, and I'm like, got nothing left. So I think you pinned me with a trademark. He pinned me with a trademark. APA ran into a reversal. So yeah, 2 trademark pins and that stupid Sable Bomb. It was not a good day for trademarks. How was your day?
Really good.
Yeah.
I was 4-0 until the last game. It happened to work out where we did round robin and 2 4-0s at the very end. Our game, you threw 3 Turn Up the Heat moves against me, and I stopped all 3 of them.
Yeah.
That ended up being a very one-sided game. I just want to say, like, I've been playing the AJ Styles as the only deck I ended up putting together with this new set, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
That ability is so good, where it's like, okay, you reverse my maneuver, I'm going to get something else. Like, you always have availability. So my opening turns have always been with, like, Tech in a Bottle. I search for Quick Snap Body Slam, and I Flawless Transition Quick Snap. If they reverse both, I'm searching for 2 different non-unique non-hybrid maneuvers. So I'll go get another Quick Snap Body Slam, either a Japanese Arm Drag with the Cruiserweight cards, it becomes an 0 for 4 high risk, or I'll get like a Counter Slash, or I'll just find something. And more times than not, they let the Flawless Transition Quick Snap through, and then from there I'm playing the Thrust Knee Lifts, the 7 for 8. I search for that blindside thrust kick. I search for the blindside takedown put in ringside, so now these thrust kicks become 4 for 8s.
Mm-hmm.
And it is crazy synergy. AJ's 0 for 8 phenomenal drop kick is just so good. That into the 4-for-8 SmackDown mid-match high risk.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just...
I remember. I think that's what you pinned me with from the last game.
I know in a game, I think it was against Brock that wasn't recorded, I hit all 3 trademarks against him.
Oh, jeez.
So I got text on the Styles Clash where it couldn't be reversed from Arsenal.
Yeah. Actually, that's what happened. That's how you pinned
Okay,
me.
that's how I pinned you.
Yeah, all 3 trademarks. Yeah, I'm like...
Well, if you rewind and look at the link that was up there, you'll be able to see that.
It's all coming back to me now. Trademark.
Bailey, he graciously took the loss at the... Or no, he took the pin at the end on the maneuver. I mean, I think I would have had him with a few more maneuvering of things. That was a good game.
If you had that Styles Clash in your ringside pile.
Oh my god! So I had over 40 fortitude. He plays Bailey's Hurricane Rana, Bailey Rana. I don't have the Styles Clash in ringside to play it. I ended up overturning it as a reversal, and people are like, "What? What is this?"
Yeah, ignores any reversal restriction and reverse any Rana.
So what I'm going to do is, because that was a recorded game, I'm going to put a link in the description, and I'm going to have it pop up right here, right now. But that was a good game. That was a good back and forth game. That was the first deck I think I've seen around here that is there's no escape.
Yeah,
That's annoying.
First one, yeah.
I just let the moves through, and I'm like, mine are bigger. Mine will do more damage.
But he combines it with drawing a blank, so that you're not supposed to be able to play reversals, and then you spin a reversal, and he gets to draw 3
I have a
style
really hard time reversing.
Yeah.
Brock was a one-sided game. Restart the match really ruined his time because he did a lot of hand manipulation. So I'm like, no, let's change it up. And that he had nothing for the first few turns.
Yeah.
Sable, that was a quick game. I ended that. APA, it was interesting because he was throwing those non-unique hybrid reversals to me on my high risks, but because of high flying style, non-unique reversals deal no damage to them.
Oh, right.
So it's including their
I
hybrids.
care about Bradshaw's follows.
Because I was like, take your fortitude.
I wondered, because I popped into your game, and you played a high risk, and he played Bradshaw's follow slam, and you just like search for a card. I'm like, you're going to take that 9 damage? No.
I made the big mistake there, though. He played Damn. Where I had Axe Kick in ringside, where it reverses. It ruined the whole game for me. Where I was stuck at 6 fortitude for the longest time, and then I could have just discarded a card and played it to Damn, and that would have been the swings I had. I'm phenomenal that reverses any card in hand, and no, he kept reversing every Hurricane Rana and Japanese arm drag I was throwing at him. I ended up losing where he restricted use my Hurricane Rana to make it a strike again, and just hit me with a big hybrid. So, yeah, it was a good day for me, but unfortunately for me, I guess, fortunately for Cam, he is our champion once again.
Back to back, he retained. Went 5-0 with the APA.
This is also the first month of our 6-month tournament program that we are blatantly stealing from Singapore.
I got 1 point, guys! I participated! I'm such a millennial.
But it's like, that is such an opposite for how you usually perform it.
Yeah, and it's because it was an untested deck. I'm sure I could play it next week and go 3-2 or something, but I'll probably take it apart and carry on with it.
So what we'll do is, with the tradition of our tournaments, we interview the winner. So we're going to cut to me interviewing Cam. So take it away, guys.
I am here at OMG Games in Barrie, Ontario with our winning defending champion, Cameron Pratt. Cam.
Circle Milk.
So, Cam, let everyone know who you played today. And we had a 6-player round robin tournament with 3 virtual superstars, 3 classic superstars. You're one of those classic superstars. So explain your deck a little bit.
I revisited one of my old favorites, the APA. I mentioned when I won last month. I was asked about a short list of upcoming superstars, and APA was on that list. I got it in. It was a recent build. I built some new guys before them, but came right down to it. I felt they were ready to handle the meta of today, and their new specifics and how they all work together is like hot butter. That was fantastic.
And then with that, They can pack. Don't try this at home now. That's a big change
Big
to them.
plus. I was wondering because there's a lot of talk of cutting down to one per deck, and aces are, Plus, they have the classic teamwork, so you're not strictly reliant on it. But it's good. It was very valuable to have something that stops and removes, like Brock's Collegiate. You pop your backstage card, sure, but we're still just through that rather than you nuking my hand every turn, and it's a good option.
And then
For 1 damage.
And then so they got a few new specifics. Do you find that they clearly improve the deck, but you went undefeated in a round robin. You went 5-0. What did their specifics do for them now?
It was almost a different one per game as well. A couple of times the old pre-match was the biggest swing, but it's their... Oh, it's the backstage area. It's not even one of the new ones. The backstage area makes the ace of the old one unreversible, and that's still a big swing. It's usually for 6. Half my games I was up against product endorsements, which dropped my value, but with their reversal, you get drink or fight out. It replaces the text with maneuvers in play up to 5, so you can still do it later on, which is usually when you need it anyway. Their mid-match, you can throw around a lot more liberally with the can only be a reverse restriction of your opponent needs specifics to stop your specifics. Obviously, restricted comes into play and you get one. That's fine. I got beer cards coached, but you can still huck dam. Dramatic pause. Fantastic addition. Playing at -5. So it plays at 0, reverse any non-maneuver card. And I had to use it first card of the game against a road to victory offensive when I had 15 cards in hand. No all talks, no coaches. So,
and that's surprising. You're not running all talk, no action.
I am.
You had just had none in your hand of 15.
Exactly. Yeah. I got 2 coaches, 3 all talks. Not when I need them though. So.
And then with playing a. Sorry, with playing classic superstar, we had 3 virtual superstars, 2 from the newest holiday set, and 1 from Virtual 7. Bailey, Big E, and an AJ Styles deck. How do playing against all of these? How do you find the big shift to these newer virtual superstars?
They do have stuff to get you going. If you're not sure who to build and you want someone with something to them right away, these are good options. Bailey and AJ are hucking specifics galore, high risks out of nowhere. And you have a lot of options as the player. First, you drop fortitude to certain things, give yourself more options, especially AJ playing from ringside. Big E is really difficult to play against because of not only the restrictions on the cards he's playing, but on you having to overturn to reverse his things when you're higher. So luckily I have played that deck before recreationally, and it wasn't shock this time. So APA being chock full of red cards and straightforward bash maneuvers, though, helps a lot because they have good recursion, especially if I can rely on dam. I don't mind overturning 5 a couple of times when I get 10 back and search for APA throwdown. So their specifics are a big net that give you it's that stick in the river, the pole in the wind you can hang on to. Like, stuff is going on with the new virtual things, but you can rely on beer cards, more beer, damn, bash maneuvers with no text, no restrictions, no... I don't know how many times I looked at my opponent's hand today, and they had oversell, sidewalk slam, don't be a douchebag, Carlito, and some specific that does so, but nothing on just a bash kick.
Yeah.
So, awesome. And then, draw stun, try again next turn. Yeah.
In closing, this is month 1 of our 6-month championship series that we're blatantly stealing from Singapore.
Oh, it's a great idea. We did a league once before, though, back in the old days. It wasn't the same exact thing.
It was the virtual classic raw deal championship series classic that went over very well.
Yeah.
But, month 1, you were the point leader. Who do you plan on playing going to month 2? Who do you have in mind?
I don't know if I mentioned before, but APA here was a recent build. I built a few other decks before this, so I do have, not even realizing this was coming up, I have a couple of options. I guess we might have caught a couple of the games filmed. My great collie is ready to go. Yokozuna. I keep on trying. I want that to work so bad. It's not quite there. I'm not sure. The one maneuver return is gonna bite me. I'm gonna be right there. I'm gonna have it in my hand, and I'm gonna have to say go. So there are options. Collie and Yoko being two of them. I don't want to give away all my secrets, I guess. But
Well, then, and on that note, let's wrap it up for this month. Cam, maybe we'll see you in the same place next month. Weather pending, of course. It's a beautiful January afternoon here in Ontario, Canada. So we'll
right here in Barrie, Ontario.
then we'll cut it back to Scott and myself. Thanks a lot, Cam. Back to you guys.
And we're back for the card versus card segment. And we are going to be talking about Giving Them High Fives, the original, Giving Them High Fives, the throwback, and Taunted by the Chanting Fans, which is a virtual card. And we felt they all have kind of similar effects for the same title, so we compare them. The original, most people know, overturn 5 cards at the end of the pre-match. Put one card from your ringside pile into your hand. The throwback says reveal the top 5 cards of your arsenal, put 2 of them in your hand, remove the rest from the game. And Taunted by the Chanting Fans, reveal the top 3 cards of your arsenal, put 1 in your hand, the rest in your ringside. When your opponent has a no-show or Yoko to beat in his ring, his starting hand size is -2, and as an ace during your turn, put it in your ringside. He reveals a random card from his hand, and if it is a reversal card, he discards it.
Good.
Alright, so what is your preferential?
I like the original high fives when you partner it with product endorsements. So you're playing both for free with Managed by Vince, because then you're getting an additional 2 cards. You're picking up 3 with this.
Yeah, I agree. I think the original goes great with product endorsements. Outside of that, you probably don't see it too much.
No.
It's taken up a slot. Most people would rather play the throwback one that nets you an extra card. The cost is that you have to remove 3 cards from the game. Virtual eased that cost a little bit with the 10th anniversary. You can shuffle in 1 card from the game. So if you lose a key card early on, you can get it back. Then there are other cards that get cards removed from the game, but it nets you 1 additional card for only that 1 slot, right? If you're playing the Managed by Vince and pairing it with High Fives original or the Taunted by the Chanting Fans, you are getting more cards, but that takes up more pre-match cards. So it all depends on what slots you have available to you.
Funny story about the original high fives here. AJ, I switched up 4 pre-match cards before I went to the event, so I played all 12. But instead of the high fives with product endorsements, I chose you can't spell Funaki without fun.
Yeah.
I never aced it once. I wish I was using the high fives the whole time. Because like there's a lot of ringside manipulation index, so it's like you might overturn like a back body drop or a thrust knee lift, and then those are you can manipulate them back to your deck, and they do.
Yeah,
other
that's what I was
effects.
thinking. In AJ, you'd almost want to play the high fives because you can get a counter slash in ringside,
Yeah,
or
so
an axe kick in ringside first turn, and you kind of just leave it there and be like, okay, cool, it's an extra card.
So I wish that's what I did with that. I don't like the throwback high fives, the remove from game, because man, you can have some tough choices.
Yeah, but as I said, you can get them back, right? If you play 2 of those, like. That's you 4 extra cards in your hand. That's pretty.
That's
awesome.
a 1/6 of your deck, though. That's gone.
Yeah.
And Taunted by the Chanting Fans.
I've never played that card.
We're not in a meta where no show's really being played. I mean, I saw 1 heal deck I think today. And
I was gonna say there was 2 bash decks, but then Colin was heal and 3 face decks.
So heal's not really a thing, at least in our area.
Face has made a big changeover, right?
Well, once is enough is a game breaker.
Right, and then the card, the one that plays for free, that I can never remember.
Product endorsements.
No, the one that makes your face reversals -5 fortitude.
Playing by the rules.
Playing by the rules throwback, yeah. That card's such a swing, right? That your sloppies are 10.
Oh.
And it makes managers and run-ins.
Oh, the run-ins is
5.
nasty.
Yeah.
Those diva actions.
Outside interference, king interference,
yeah.
all that stuff, right? But
And it plays for free.
yeah, so our playgroup has slowly shifted almost 100% to face.
And back to Revolution again.
Yeah.
I know I dislike playing a Revolution of the Mind when we first started virtual. It was a step escape, but it's like, man, I have no room for all these reversals. So I went back to Revo, and I don't look back.
Yeah, the only decks that don't run Revel in are the ones that I can run No Cell in, because I think No Cell's are better.
How many steps and escapes do you run with those? 2 or 3?
2 and 2.
2 and 2?
Yeah, and like usually 3 No Cells, maybe 2 overcells, because you can sustain and draw back up. But as you said, like it's the 10th of your deck right there, in like 10 reversals. And you're like, you could just do it with 3 Revos. Like, is it worth it? Like, yeah.
Oh, and that, and you're running 4 or 5 of the virtual unique reversals now.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you gotta slap in there once is enough with sloppies. Like, there's your 20 cards, right? Like, there's 20, 30 your deck. So, yeah, ton of by the Channing fans. A few people have run it. I think Shuker ran it today. The Ace. I think you played this more often in like V1 and V2, and you aced it and like never got a reversal with me. And it's not even like, you could don't try it. It's almost not even worth it.
But like the main reason for it is for that no-show.
Yeah.
But I think playing by the rules lets you randomly choose one of those, and it goes on the bottom. So
and
even
it doesn't
that's
take
better.
up the slot.
Yeah.
So that's better, right? And
But let's look at it for the high-fives-esque effect here. Well, you reveal the top 3, put 1 in your hand, the rest into your ringside. I'd rather play the other high fives.
yeah, it gives you more choice, right?
Yeah.
It gives you 2 more cards to look at, and neither have restrictions, right? Actually, again, high fives is almost better because you put any card from your ringside pile.
Oh,
into your hand
yeah.
at the end of the Backlash deck, right? So if you have other cards in there for other effects, you can pick up anything really, whereas Taunted by the Chanting fans only lets you look at those 3 cards.
So you look at high fives going up against a bash deck.
Yeah.
You're choosing
right? You have a
between
few
8
more
cards.
options, exactly.
You know, even for the love of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So
Something hits you. So I think I would play the high fives over Taunted by the Chanting fans pretty well every time. Yo kill the beat.
but there's a shenanigan.
Yeah, there's a shenanigan that blanks it. They just came out with a throwback in the last set, so we'll see. John Cena's on my short list, so we'll see if he makes a little bit of a comeback and if it matters. But
You hear he's rumored to be playing Duke Nukem in the Duke Nukem movie.
oh yeah, he fits. He kind of looks like him.
He's got that buzz cut again.
Yeah.
He's growing out his hair again.
It's better than Topher Grace's Venom. I'm just saying.
On that note, remember, guys. We have a contest going on that we talked about at the beginning. Send us in a video through any Topher Grace.
Awful choice. It should have been Brock Lesnar. Should have been Brock Lesnar.
Yes, Eddie Brock. The name fits.
Just makes sense. Alrighty, until next week, keep on raw dealing.